Warriors Orochi 3, originally released as Musou Orochi 2 in Japan, is a 2011 hack-and-slash video game developed by Tecmo, Koei and Amiga Force for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. This is the fourth installment of the crossover series Warriors Orochi, being the combination of the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors series. This installment serves as a sequel to Warriors Orochi 2. The game was released in Japan on December 22, 2011, in Europe on April 6, 2012, North America on March 20, 2012 and March 27, 2012. There are two ports of the game, Musou Orochi 2 Special released on July 19, 2012 for PlayStation Portable exclusively in Japan, and Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper was released as a launch title for the Wii U for Japan, North America, and Europe. An updated version, Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate, was released for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita in Japan on September 26, 2013, with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One ports released on June 26 and September 4, 2014, respectively. All ports of Ultimate were also released in North America and Europe on September 2 and 5, 2014, respectively. Gameplay of Warriors Orochi 3 is similar to that of the two titles that the Warriors Orochi 3 takes its characters from, namely Dynasty Warriors 7 and Samurai Warriors 3Z. Characters from either of these series play similar to how they play in their respective source games, but with a number of changes to unify the two different games together. Dynasty Warriors characters are solely armed with one weapon, and cannot switch to another one. However, the weapon given to each character is their X-weapon from the series. Characters who have changed their X-weapons in Dynasty Warriors 7, Empires retain their older X-weapons in Ultimate instead of changing to their new X-weapons. Dynasty Warriors characters are restricted to one Musou attack. Characters with a ground and aerial Musou attack in Dynasty Warriors 7 retain their ground Musou attack, while characters having two ground Musou attacks may retain either of theirs as their Musou attack. To accommodate the change in Dynasty Warriors 7 that the Musou attack button does not have to be held when the Musou attack is initiated, the Musou attack now deducts a fixed amount of Musou gauge when it is performed. For most characters, there is enough remaining in the Musou gauge for one additional special attack. Dynasty Warriors characters gain the ability to charge their Musou gauge, as with previous games. Characters new to the Warriors Orochi series also gain new special attacks. As movesets are determined by weapon in Dynasty Warriors 7 rather than by character, characters sharing the same weapon in Dynasty Warriors 7 have altered charge attacks to differentiate them from each other. Samurai Warriors characters perform their ultimate Musou attack in situations where the true Musou attack is available, to compensate for the lack of the spirit gauge. Samurai Warriors characters gain new switch attacks, akin to weapon switching in Dynasty Warriors 7. For their use in switch combos. For characters who are from neither of the two series, whether or not the character is of Japanese origin determines whether their Musou attack corresponds to that of the Dynasty Warriors or the Samurai Warriors cast. Characters new to Warriors Orochi will also have movesets based on their overall character type in this regard. For example, Mi has an X attack like Dynasty Warriors characters, while Kagai has the longer standard attack chain reminiscent of a character from the Samurai Warriors roster. Characters from previous Warriors Orochi titles and characters who did not appear in the latest installments of Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, retain their Warriors Orochi Z movesets. Those with the Dynasty Warriors moveset do not gain an X attack, while those with the Samurai Warriors moveset do not gain the additional charge attack introduced in Samurai Warriors 3. However, characters with the Dynasty Warriors moveset have their Musou attacks updated to be consistent with the Dynasty Warriors 7 cast. Gameplay takes place on modified versions of stages taken primarily from Dynasty Warriors 7 or Samurai Warriors 3. A select number of stages relevant to the story are new stages. Each of the new collaboration characters is also associated with a stage taken from either Dynasty Warriors 7 or Samurai Warriors 3. With graphical modifications made to resemble their game of origin. Much of the stage music is taken from earlier Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, or Warriors Orochi games. Each of the collaboration characters is also associated with a unique theme. New mechanics for the Warriors Orochi series are as follows: in addition to power, speed, and technique, a new character attack type, Wonder, is available. Some characters may have their character attack type changed from Warriors Orochi 2 as a result. Wonder characters gain the Spirit Charge ability from Samurai Warriors 3, by pressing the jump button while attacking. Wonder characters perform an alternate attack that breaks an opponent's guard. Speed characters no longer have a second special attack, while technique characters can no longer chain normal attacks into their special attack. However, technique characters gain the ability to sidestep attacks by pressing the jump button while strafing. Like Dynasty Warriors 7, there is a central base from which characters organize their missions. The base initially contains a weapons dealer and a network assistant for multiplayer play, but can be expanded to include a tea house. A modified version of the bond system from Dynasty Warriors 7 is introduced. Bonds between two characters are formed through being allied in battle, being opponents in battle, being teammates in battle, or by completing a mission set forth by an ally in battle. As new chapters are unlocked, bonds between characters may be raised by paying gems at the tea house. The bond between two characters are roughly divided into thirds. Bonds between characters must be raised in battle to graduate past the 1/3 and 2/3 marks. The raising of bonds between certain characters past the 1/3 mark is a requirement for some side story missions. Each character is associated with a number of other characters considered to be special relationships. As the bond between the two characters increase, new support conversations may appear whenever the player controls either character in the central base. Special relationships span many different types, including family, adversarial, based on earlier Warriors Orochi series titles, or based on events in story mode. As with Dynasty Warriors 7, the morale gauge is no longer present. As with Samurai Warriors 3, each character is associated with 4 levels of weapons. A 5th level of weapon is available in Ultimate by fulfilling certain stage conditions on hard, as with past Warriors games. Dynasty Warriors characters sharing the same weapon will have identical weapons for the first 3 levels. Players may enhance their weapons with attributes, and merge 2 weapons to form a more powerful weapon by transferring the attributes from one weapon to another. Characters also have access to additional big star weapons for which weapon proficiency grows more slowly, but damage output is increased. Characters with similar weapon types will share similar big star weapons, but like Samurai Warriors 3, each character maintains their own inventory of weapons. If the bond between two characters are maxed out, one of the characters may be awarded a new weapon by the other whenever they are allied but not teammates in subsequent battles. Characters may keep up to 8 weapons in their inventory, excluding weapons available via downloadable content. Players may switch characters as they are attacking. This technique, known as a switch combo, allows the combo counter of the outgoing character to be transferred to the incoming character, who performs a special switch attack when they are switched in. This, however, consumes a portion of the incoming character's Musou gauge. There is also a variation called the Triple Rush attack which is only available in the Ultimate Update. A team of 3 specific characters will also result in creating a unique attack within the Triple Rush feature. Characters may perform a Break Guard, a damaging blowback attack dealing critical damage, from blocking attacks, by pressing the normal attack button after blocking an attack. Characters may perform a dash chain, allowing a character to continue running after performing a running attack. A new gauge has been introduced, the True Triple Attack gauge, which fills as a player deals damage to enemies. When the gauge is full, players may initiate a true triple attack by pressing both character switch buttons, during which all 3 team members will appear on the screen to attack enemies. For a short period of time after the true triple attack is initiated, all enemies will move in slow motion, allowing characters to deal additional damage to enemies. At the end of the true triple attack, all 3 characters will perform one final attack, ending with the 3 characters posing together. Any enemies killed by a true triple attack will drop items, which are automatically collected at the end of the attack. The strength of the true triple attack is determined by the overall bond between the three characters. Ultimate introduces a new attack, the mid-air tie-up action, performed by pressing the special attack button while in mid-air. Like their grounded counterparts, mid-air tie-up actions consume a certain amount of Musou gauge when used. Ultimate allows the player to switch between being able to switch between the three characters or having all three characters in combat at the same time. In the latter case, the inactive characters are controlled by the computer in the same way as allied officers, and lost health cannot be regained unless the player reverts to having the ability to switch characters. In a two-player game, if both players are in three-character mode and perform a double Musou attack, it results in a new six-man Musou attack combination known as True Musou Burst. Two-player co-op is available with both players permitted to use different teams. For Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper, the Wii U gamepad may be used for one of the players, allowing the other player to play in full screen. A new mode, Musou Battlefield, allows the modification of existing stages and sharing of modifications online. Players have a limited number of edit points, where they may replace characters, add more aggressive enemy behavior, and alter game audio. Ultimate removes the need for edit points to alter the changes, and the players can also customize the battle quotes and combat notifications in-game. Hyper, in addition, has a new duel mode, allowing players to battle each other in 3-on-3 battles. Players must choose in addition 4 strategy cards, which may be activated over the course of a duel. Each strategy card costs a number of battle points per use. Each character has 2 strategy cards available for use. One is made available by unlocking the character, while the second is made available through other means. Ultimate adds a new Gauntlet mode, where players can set a party of 5 characters. Downloadable content allowing for new character costumes, scenarios, weapons, and music, is available for all platforms. As with scenarios present in the base game, all scenarios use slightly modified versions of stages from Dynasty Warriors 7, Samurai Warriors 3, or Warriors Orochi 2, as per Warriors Orochi series tradition. Both original music and music from past Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games are available for download. Downloadable costumes are based on costumes used in past Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games, or are alternate costumes from past Warriors Orochi titles. In addition, Dynasty Warriors characters gain downloadable costumes based on their awakened forms from Dynasty Warriors, Striker Force 2, while all other characters gain downloadable costumes depicting them cosplaying as a character from Dynasty Warriors. Downloadable content from Dynasty Warriors 7 and Samurai Warriors 3 cannot be used in Warriors Orochi 3. The same content must be repurchased for specific use by this game. Characters. All characters from Musou Orochi Z return in this game. Unlike the first 2 games, the costumes for the characters are taken from Dynasty Warriors 7, Extreme Legends and Samurai Warriors 3Z. Characters not present in either game use visuals from the last game they were in. 4 new characters are initially available in the original PlayStation 3 version. An additional 7 would be added through various expansions of the game. Kaguya, a graceful and elegant young mystic who descends to the dimensional world following the chaos wrought upon by the Hydra. Armed with a miraculous ability to traverse time, she helps the 3 remaining heroes to save their comrades for certain death and to fight back against the bewitched serpent beast. Throughout the game, she begins to develop a sense of friendship with humanity, which helps against her initially repressive side. With Sakaki and Mirrors. Shitandaji, a mighty warrior of strength and intimidating presence. The 2 horns extending from the top of his head suggest something superhuman about him, but he himself knows nothing of his own identity, save for his name. Driven by the desire to understand who he is, he takes to the battlefield. Eventually, it is revealed that he is actually a part of Orochi's soul separated from him when he is reborn as the Hydra, and thus is vital for the coalition to fight back the serpent beast. Wields a giant good. Nizha, a young mystic born between the human and mystic realms. After initially being killed in an earlier battle, he is resurrected by the High Mystic, Susanoo as his aide, helping him to capture Daji, although his ways of finding become some sort of terror against humanity. The prequel chapter reveals that he was actually killed by Orochi. Wields 4 discs known as elephant rings. In his human form only available in the Ultimate Update, he wields fire-tip lance. Susanoo, the leader of the Mystic Army, who has finally deigned to make an appearance in this land of turmoil. His unwavering confidence in his own strength, and the complete trust of his subordinates. This leads, however, to a contemptuous attitude towards human beings. He is pursuing Daji in order to thwart her plans to resurrect Orochi, although his apathetic and militaristic attitude to find her becomes a sort of amusement to the mystics. Wields the armor known Murakumo no Tsurugi. Saimyo, a member of the aristocratic Abe clan, a clan which has ties to the Japanese imperial throne. Disgusted by humanity and their vanity, he willingly entered the dimensional realm through time distortion. Wields a wood-folding fan and a white fox spirit. Shennong, one of the 3 sovereigns who is renowned for having taught China to not only practice agriculture, but also the use of herbal drugs. He was content to stay in the mystic realm until he notices the humanity's struggle in the dimensional realm. He decides to descend with the other mystics to provide help for humanity. Wields Tsebian. Meitamamo, a legendary kitsune who is said to be the most beautiful and intelligent woman in Japan. After the Hydra had been defeated, she appears in the dimensional world in rock form, which is eventually found by the Orochi army. Armed with scrolls and the mysterious sacred mirror, she enjoys toying the warriors before allying herself with Daji and the resurrected Orochi, while hiding her own personal agenda. Mei's true form is actually the mythical nine-tailed fox, Kyabi no Kitsune. Ainglo, a powerful mystic entrusted with exterminating demons in the mystic realm. He appears in the Tale of the Former Day prequel chapter, set long before the events of the series starts. Following an event in which he rebelled against the Tandi and broke his sacred mirror, he was transformed to Orochi, who would become the main antagonist of the series. Wields twin dragon sword. Kyabi no Kitsune, the mythical nine-tailed fox, in actuality the true form of a fox spirit, Meitamamo. Wields her 9 tails and robes. Hundun, one of the 4 fiends, considered the source of primordial chaos in Chinese mythology. He does not appear in the story, but instead appears as the final boss of the game's Gauntlet mode. Wields 4 hatchets. Hydra, the world will of Orochi's raw power, taking form of a giant 8-headed serpent beast dubbed as Hydra. It was born after Orochi was defeated at the end of the second game. Its appearance to have caused disasters and the deaths of warriors in the dimensional realm. It is unplayable in the game, only serving as the game boss. The game also include collaboration characters from other Tecmo Koei franchises. Ninja Gaiden, Bladestorm, The 100 Years' War, Warriors, Legends of Troy, Dead or Alive, Trinity, Souls of Zero Euro Unregistered Trademark LL, and Atelier as well a character from outside the Tecmo Koei property. Soul from Namco Bandai. Those characters appear and star in their own alternate version of stages within the game. The following collaboration characters are, Ryu Hayabusa, a young member of the Hayabusa ninja clan, and heir to the dragon lineage. While battling the forces of evil with the legendary dragon sword, he was suddenly dragged into the fissure in time and space which appeared at the same time as the Hydra. But even in this alternate universe, he continues his fight against evil. Ryu wields the dragon sword and appears at Anagawa. Joan of Arc, Maid of Orleans, a national heroine of France. A kind young woman with a strong sense of justice, she vowed to stand up and fight for the people of France in the 100 Years' War. On the field of battle, she saw a unit of her forces sucked into the rift in time and space, and in an attempt to rescue them, she too was transported to this alternate universe. Joan wields a lance and appears at Mount Ingjun. Achilles wields a xipose and appears at Nanshong. Henry, pulled into the dimensional realm after the events of Trinity, Souls of Zero Euro Unregistered Trademark LL. Mei wields a spear and appears at Kyushu. Rachel, while doing her usual rounds, she was suddenly sucked into the dimensional realm through time distortion. Rachel wields Inferno Hammer and Type 666 heavy machine gun and appears at Jiangdong. Kasumi. While tracking her clone, Alpha 152, she was sucked through time distortion and arrived at the dimensional realm. Wields a wakizashi named Shrouded Moon, and appears at Yan Province. Arain. Mysteriously teleported to the dimensional realm after the events of Dead or Alive 4. Arain wields the Musou Orochi and appears at Hosito. Momji. Appeared in the dimensional realm through time distortion while guarding her post. Wields Heavenly Dragon Naginata and Heathen Songbao and appears at One Castle. Sturkenberg Krenak. Mysteriously transported to the dimensional realm after the events of Atelier Meruru, the apprentice of Arland. Wields Longsword and appears at Zhu Province. Sophisha Alexandra. While going home with her child after the events of Soul Calibur 4, she was sucked to the dimensional world through time distortion. Wields Omega Sword and Elk Shield and appears at Liadol. In addition to all 96 characters from Musou Orochi Z, there are a total of 145 characters in this game. Denotes new characters to the series. Denotes new characters added through expansions, default characters. Plot. Several years after the events of Warriors Orochi II, the warriors of the Three Kingdoms era of China and the Sengoku period of Japan have begun to rebuild their lives in the twisted dimensional world after Orochi's permanent death. It is not destined for long though, as the monstrous eight-headed serpent beast dubbed as Hydra appears and massacres through the warriors. Combined with the resurrection of Kumo-Ritara and the reappearance of Daji who brainwashes the remaining heroes, the warriors are left in cradle. The remaining three heroes, Ma Chao, Saimatsu, and Hanbu Tekinaka are about to be defeated if not for the intervention of the Moon Princess, Kaguya, who claims to have been sent from the mystic world to help the warriors. She uses her time travel powers to send the three back in time, so they will be able to save their comrades from certain doom. After securing the more strategical places like Odawara Castle, the Coalition are informed by Mystic Taegong Wang that they can defeat the Hydra using a special weapon called Yashari. However, they will need the time and power to build such weapons. The Coalition capture an amnesiac mighty warrior, Shitan Daji, who is later revealed to be an offshoot of Orochi who was born at the same time as Hydra. In reality the worlds will have Orochi's power, as well as Daji herself, who reluctantly joins after the Coalition have her friend, Himiko as an unwitting hostage. Because of the time required to build multiple Yashari, the Coalition have to return to the distant past when the Hydra had yet to appear in the world, which they fulfill through Daji's power, as she has been in the dimensional world the entire time. Upon arriving, the Coalition have to protect Daji from the anti-Orochi forces as well as an army of mystics led by Susanoo, who has dedicated his job to hunt Daji. They eventually gain their trust, and with the help of them, the Coalition build multiple Yashari powered by Shitan Daji's essence, while also preparing for the upcoming grand battle with the Hydra. In the final chapter, the Coalition confront the Hydra again, who is defeated through the help of Yashari. The Hydra then reforms to 8 Orochi clones and later a final Orochi X form. While battling them, the Coalition also have to gain the trust of Susanoo, who is not yet willing to let the problem fall in the mortals' hands. The game has 3 endings, which are unlocked through certain requirements. The normal ending has the Coalition finally being able to destroy Hydra. The good ending is essentially the same, although the warriors then make pledge to rule the land together in peace. In the true ending, after Orochi X is defeated, the dimensional world begins to crumble, as Orochi's existence is the only thing that supports the world. Defeating him means the end of the world. The mystics ban their powers to send the warriors back to their own original time, saving them at the cost of their memories in the dimensional world. The expanded story in the Ultimate Update is continued from the good ending of the original game, thus foregoing the true ending. Daji and the rest of the demon army have broken out from the Coalition and are now traversing the dimensional world. They are attracted to a magical stone they found during their journey, which is revealed to be the sealed form of Mei Tamamo, a mystic who possesses a mysterious mirror, the Shinkia, which has the ability to seal anyone who come into contact with it and to create doppelgangers. Allying herself with Daji, Tamamo seals many warriors of the Three Kingdoms and Sengoku period and create doppelgangers of them, causing chaos and conflict within the coalition. The Mystics, who have gone to the Mystic Realm since the Hydra's defeat, descend once more to help the warriors. Depending on the progression, the player may finish the game's story in Chapter 6, which ends in the release of the sealed warriors and Tamamo's defeat and subsequent sealing as the stone again by the Mystics. Otherwise, while the sealed warriors are released, Tamamo is not yet defeated, and the story continues to Chapter 7. In an attempt to stop Tamamo from causing further conflicts, the warriors will need her own magic mirror, the Shinkia, to seal her. Through Kagai's powers combined with Fuzai's memories, the warriors travel far back in time in the Mystic Realm, when Orochi had not existed yet. The Mystic Realm is ruled by Tandi, who is the original possessor of the Shinkia and had used it to seal demons. The warriors meet with the mystic Ainglo, who is fooled by Tamamo into believing that the Emperor had used the Shinkia to control the demons. He starts a rebellion against the Emperor and eventually manages to steal the mirror, but this act caused him to be corrupted by the mirror's evil power, which transforms him into Orochi, who proceeds to go to the human realm to commit various evil acts after having killed the half-mystic Nizha. The Emperor, having learned of Tamamo's plans, gratefully lends the warriors the Shinkia. Back to the present time, the warriors use the mirror against Tamamo, but this only makes her reverting to her true form, the Kyabi no Kitsune, who goes to confront the warriors in the final battle. The Ultimate Update have two endings in addition to the three mentioned above, the first of which is the aforementioned normal ending where Tamamo is sealed without having reverted to her true form. In this ending the warriors continue to live their life in peace in the dimensional world. The second ending is similar to the true ending of the original game, where after having sealed Kyabi, the Mystics ban their powers to send the warriors to their original timeline. However, the dimensional world seems to stay intact, unlike the original game. Release. Simultaneous storefront meetings in Japan took place at the end of November until mid-December for Dynasty Warriors Next and Musou Orochi 2. Attendees could obtain an original clear file for Musou Orochi 2 and play demos for both games at these meetings. Early buyers received a downloadable serial code granting Santa costumes to Mitsunari Ishida, Wang Yuanji, and Daji. The treasure box release includes a calendar which has characters represent the months and days individually, an original soundtrack, and an exclusive downloadable serial code for Ma Chao's weapon. Consumers who use Gamecity's shopping service had the option of obtaining a Three Kingdoms or Warring States themed hat. Musou Orochi 2 Special APSP port, titled Musou Orochi 2 Special, was announced on May 8, 2012 and was released on July 19, 2012 in Japan. Two additional characters were added, Rachel from the Ninja Gaiden series and a new character named Simu Abe. A new Battle Royale mode was included with support for up to 4 players. All characters, modes, and features from the original game were retained in this port. 10 PSP customizable themes based on characters are offered for players who pre-order the title. Players can automatically unlock all characters by inserting their save data from the PS3 version. Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper, the Wii U port of the game, Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper was announced at the Tokyo Game Show 2012 as one of the launch titles for the console. Unlike past releases, this port launched outside of Japan first. Hyper features a new multiplayer mode called Duel Mode in which players battle enemies using 3-man teams. Players will also have the option to play the game using a Wii U Pro controller or the Wii U gamepad. The Wii U gamepad can be used to display an expanded mini-map. Local co-op includes an option that allows each player to have a full screen to play on, with one player using the TV screen to play while the other uses the Wii U gamepad screen to play. The single-player game can also be played on the Wii U gamepad screen without the use of a TV. The game includes all characters from Special, including Rachel and Simu Abe, and added 2 new characters, Momji from the Ninja Gaiden series and a new original character, Shenong. Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate, an update to the original game, Musou Orochi 2 Ultimate was released for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita on September 26, 2013. A PlayStation 4 version had been confirmed to be released on June 26, 2014, which will have improved graphics and lighting among other enhancements. The game was released in North America and Europe on September 2 and 5, 2014, respectively, with an additional XBOX1 port, which was also released in Japan as a launch title. The update includes all new features from the Hyper version. It also retains the 4 new characters added in that game: Rachel, Simuabe, Momji, and Shenong, as well as the game debut of Zushu, a Dynasty Warriors character who first appeared in Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires. New characters are also added, including Mei Tamamo, Ainglaw, a younger incarnation of Nizha, Kyabi no Kitsune, Hundun, Kasumi from the Dead or Alive series, Sturkenberg Krenak from Atelier Island series, and Sophisha Alexandra from the Soul series. The game expands on the original game's story by adding 2 new stories, The Tale of the Latter Day, which takes place after the defeat of Hydra in the original game, and The Tale of the Former Day, which is a side story that explains Orochi's origins as well as his secret with Daji. New stages are also added, including side stories to expand on the characters not prominently featured in the main story, alternative events on specific stages, and the chance to play stages through the enemy's perspective. Reception: the original version of Musou Orochi 2 sold 200,526 copies in its first 3 days of release. It was rated by Famitsu with a 98/9, for an averaged rating of 8.5 out of 10. References. External links: Official Warriors Orochi 3 website, Official Warriors Orochi 3 website, Official Musou Orochi 2 website, Official Musou Orochi 2 Ultimate website.